Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right-hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation.
Hi there, this is Jens from Corroded.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, it's fine. And you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Not a problem.
Oh, awesome. Well, of course, we're here to talk about everything going on in the world of Corroded right now. And, of course, the brand new album, Bitter, which came out in the beginning of the year already. I mean, it's hard to believe we're already this far into 2019. What's it feel like to have the album out this long now?
Yeah, it's been received really well almost everywhere. And the best part of it, it's been a lot of people that actually kind of hated it, which I actually like. I think it's weird, but it's for me it's more important to have like people you either really love it or you kind of hate it. The in between stuff, that's not so much fun. So it's been it's been a good journey for us so far.
You know, the great thing that does come from people that do hate it, I mean, unless they're just checking out the name or the titles or something like that, that means that they actually did listen to the music rather than feeling so-so about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's not a problem. I mean, it's fine. We're not here to please everyone, sort of. So it's it's good. It's all good.
Well, sadly, I'm not one of those people that do hate the album. I very much enjoy the album. I love what's going on here. I mean, discovering you guys a few years back and then with the previous album, just really loving what you guys did. I love this darker tinge that is going on throughout Bitter. I mean, I think it's a good statement for where the world is right now in 2019. I mean, both musically and lyrically. I just think it really fits right now in 2019.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the main reasons why we wrote the album. Because I mean, if you look at the world, especially through social media sites, it's kind of a crappy and shitty world, and people are more and more. They are resenting everything and getting bitter and just, I mean, that's the way it is. But in fact, if you look at it, we have a really good world today compared to 100 years ago. So it's weird because the more people get, the more they want all the time. So it's yeah.
Yeah, and I completely understand that too, and you know that's a sad part about it too. I mean, once you start giving the world more things, they're upset that it wasn't there before, and they want more of that thing. They want a better version of that thing, and it's just a very strange thing to think about. And it does leave a lot of resentment and, you know, no pun intended, bitterness that's going on in the world.
Exactly. Why the album is named the way it is. So yeah.
So with that in mind, I mean, obviously with the context of what's going on with the title and the style that's going on there, how did the songwriting process begin for the album?
Yeah, that was we didn't have that much time to write the songs for this album actually. So we just had one weekend together as a band actually. So I think we wrote like 3 songs that weekend, which was Breathing, Burn, and Destruction, I guess. So that was a good start. And then me and Thomas, the other guitar player, wrote the stuff home, just sitting down and writing over Skype and having Skype sessions and trying the best we could just to get an album done, sort of. But once we started to listen to the material that we had, we noticed that, I mean, that was really good stuff, really, really good stuff. So that was the best part when we started to notice that we had something going for real. And then into the studio, just record stuff. And here we are today.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny how sometimes you can be out of your comfort zone for how you're like to write. You know, sometimes it's you like writing by yourself. Sometimes you like writing with a full band. Sometimes the entire songs are completed ahead of time. Sometimes you write them in the studio. It's different for everybody, but when you do change up that style of writing, when you change that comfort zone for your writing, sometimes you can come up with some of your best material because you're using different ideas, you're using different parts of your brain because it's kind of scattered when you're writing. I mean, there's so much good that can come of it, and you can definitely hear it throughout this album.
Yeah, I think so as well, because I mean, when it came to the lyric parts, I sort of listened to the songs and just gave them one word. So the words stayed behind, and the songs, I mean, they kept it, like breathing cross, and it's just one word for every song, just something to describe the song the way I heard it in my head. So that was a new process as well for me to try to write the lyrics about that sort of word and what it meant at the time when I heard the song for the first time. So that was fun.
Yeah, and I mean, it really did pay off with that too. And, you know, hearing about it that way, it's making me appreciate that so much more because, you know, with every song title being one word, I mean, it sounds like such a great creative experience to wrap your mind around just like one word that you described with the song when you heard it and then being able to write the lyrics behind it. I mean, that's such a cool writing process.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for me, that was a completely new process, a new style of working, which actually kind of suited me really well. Because you sort of get an idea when you hear the song for the first time, and that if you stick to that idea, you got some cool stuff going on. I mean, usually when I write the lyrics, it's like the lyrics it's not separated, but it's not a part of the song the same way as it was this time. So that was really fun.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, even though it is a much darker album than I'm used to hearing from Corroded, it still feels like a fun album to me. You know, musically, I mean, it's just like, it's great. It's got great speed and intensity to it. I mean, when you listen to the lyrics, of course, it is quite dark. But again, just like this overall fun feeling that makes you want to listen from start to finish. And I mean, you guys definitely did that.
Which is awesome. I mean, that's super, super nice to hear. Of course, I mean, when we are writing stuff in general, not just for this album, but we never stop to think it's not something that's in our head at all, what people would think of it. If people like it, then that's good. But this is stuff that we just need to get out of the system, so to say. So it's nice to hear that you like it.
And, you know, to flip that coin as well, too, I mean, it's great to hear that you are writing the music that you want to write as well, too. I mean, rather than feeling like you just need to make the fans happy, I mean, the fact that the fans are kind of an afterthought to an extent, and you're just writing the music that you feel like you need to write, that you want to write, you know, to get that out of your system and just make sure that it's something that you are going to be happy with at the end of the day. I mean, I think that's so important as a musician. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's been like number one from the get-go for us. It was a completely different kind of process when we had a producer back in the days, the first like 3 albums. But now that we're producing everything ourselves and we do all the stuff. I mean, from mixing to everything, more or less by ourselves. Then it's sort of everything except for that process sort of fades away. So it really doesn't matter whilst you're writing or whilst you're producing or mixing the album. It's just something that needs to get out, and if people like it, then it's all good. But it's not a part of the process, which is super cool.
Oh, definitely. So with that in mind, I mean, of course, when you first started off, using a producer to be able to help to make the album, and nowadays, 5 albums in, you're able to do everything completely yourselves. I mean, what is that transition like for you guys?
Yeah, it's been. I mean, when we started to write songs in the beginning, I mean, that was way back. I mean, I started to write stuff back in, I guess, 1985 or something. Then you didn't have a producer. You didn't know what a producer was back then. So when we first got the possibility to work with our last label and the producer, that was a super cool experience about just how the song should like feel and the lyric, how it should start. And it's like writing a book. He said, like, if you start to read a book and the first couple of sentences aren't good, then you stop kind of reading that book because it doesn't grab you emotionally. And that's the same thing when it comes to writing lyrics and the same thing actually when it comes to writing songs in general. So that he was really good help for us.
Yeah, and that's so important too. It's just like when there can be outside influences when there's someone else in the band, or if you just like doing everything completely yourself. Again, it's just like the different writing styles, the different producing styles are so important, and it's great to get an idea of all the different things that are out there because there's so many different ways that you can look at things and always better yourself as a musician.
Absolutely. I mean, that's number one. For me, it's always a process of bettering yourself as a songwriter and a musician in general. To me, that's super important.
So with that in mind, I mean, obviously between the last album and now, there has been a bit of a change, like getting a bit darker and heavier with what the sound is going on. I mean, do you feel like there's been like any major change for yourself musically as a musician?
No, I think when it came to this album, we didn't have like an idea or something. We just started to write riffs together that weekend, and the way that those riffs came out, that sort of set the whole tone for the whole album. So that was just, I mean, we had talked about this prior to the recording process, that we should, like, everyone in the band loves bands like Machine Head, Pantera, Slayer, and thrash metal, Testament. I mean, those bands, and that's not something that we have sort of let. It's something that's been sticking in the background for us for such a long time. So we just felt that it's time to let the demons out. Kind of.
Oh, that's a great way to describe it too. It's just like when you have your own sound and you do have these influences in the back, and you want to be able to explore them at some point, and you kind of question if you should bring those kind of influences into the band. And now when you are able to explore that and you're able to see like that darker, that heavier side, I mean, you're able to add that to your style of songwriting. And for the next album, I mean, whether you want to write something a little different, if you want to keep it going even darker, now you have those opportunities to know that it is a great idea.
Exactly. I mean, that was something that sort of came up after a while when we started to look at the songs and started to listen to the stuff that we wrote and just hey man, we got a couple new sort of turns that we can take from now on. So that was really good.
Oh, definitely. And with that as well too, I mean, as great as it is to be able to write those songs, record those songs, and now, almost half a year later, being able to really enjoy the fact that you made an album like that, I imagine it's gotta be a great feeling to add that style into the live setting as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, live, we've been playing like, I think 3 songs from the new album in the live set. And people are just, it's working out really good. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, and that's so great to hear that too. I mean, when you are able to show off all the different sizes Corroded into a live set, and being able to play the new album, playing a few new tracks off the new album, and it's getting that kind of great response. That's got to be such a great, rewarding feeling for the live setting.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a couple of old songs that if we don't play them, the fans will sort of riot and get really upset. But otherwise, it's like we've always been kind of a really like rough, hard live band, and that's not something that it didn't sound like that on the albums, especially the first 3 albums. They were sort of polished and nice, kind of almost Nickelback-ish. But live, it's always been kind of a different kind of monster. So yeah, the new songs really fit the live sort of idea.
Oh, and that's so great to hear that. So with that in mind, I mean, obviously being able to get the live setting down with the new songs and getting that great response, what's going to be happening next for you guys?
Yeah, right now I think we're touring in Sweden as per usual, but I think in November we're going on a shorter European tour for like 3 weeks or something. And then I think it's actually back to the studio again and start to prepare for the next album.
Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's great that, that you are able to travel outside of Sweden, just like get some great representation outside of Sweden to be able to promote this album. But the fact that the creative juices are already going for the next album, that's so exciting to see that.
Yeah, I think we got like 8-10 songs or something already. So that's a good start.
Oh, absolutely. Is it too early to say like the type of sound that's going on with the new album?
I think it's so hard to say right now the way the next album is going to sound because it's going to be different again, I guess, because it's just something that there's a lot of fun just trying stuff out, see how they fit. So yeah.
Oh, that's actually got me more excited. I mean, the fact that you're able to expand the sound of the band. I mean, whether it gets more catchier, whether it gets more heavier, whether it gets more experimental. I mean, the fact that you are able to expand the sound of Corroded and still give it that Corroded sound to it. I mean, that's got me very excited.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a lot of fun for us as well, of course, because you sort of when you start to write new songs for the next album, it's sort of it's always like, how far can we go, or do we need to think more commercial, and the commercial question always is no, weirdly and stupidly enough. Because, I mean, I would love to get my hands on a lot of cash, of course, but unfortunately, that's not the way it is. And so it's it's like just getting your hands on a bunch of white paper and trying to imagine a book on those papers. It's like tabula rasa, as they say.
Oh, and again, I love the mindset that you guys have when it comes to writing those albums, like writing the albums that you feel like you need to write, rather than, again, making the fans happy, rather than feeling like it needs to be commercial or anything like that. I mean, if it comes out that way naturally, of course, that's great, but the fact is that you want to write the albums that you want to make, and that's always going to be more important.
Yeah. For us, it's sort of that's the most important part, because I mean, we're too fucking old to try to please other people. Even though, I mean, we care a lot for our fans, of course. Without them, we would be absolutely nothing. But I mean, if we try to start to like write songs for them the way that we think that they would like us to sound, that would be kind of impossible, actually.
Yeah, and there's very few bands that I've seen that are able to really pull that off and be happy with the sound that they're doing. And when you're forcing music, I mean, it is so hard to be able to be happy with it. But once you're happy with the music that you're writing, when it feels so natural and it's what you want to make, that's always going to be more rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the same goes for the fans as well, because people in general are not stupid. They can hear when it's sort of something that we really enjoy doing, or they can hear if there's something that we tried to do because we needed to please someone, the label or whatever. Mostly people can hear that.
Oh, yeah. And again, bringing everything back around to Bitter, I mean, I can definitely tell it was the album that you wanted to make at the time. Whether this is the only album that sounds like this, whether it shows the new direction of the band, whatever happens with the band, I'm glad to see that you are sticking to your guns like that. I mean, just writing what feels natural for you at the time, because that's always going to make the best music. And that's why I appreciate Corroded after all this time, being able to see all of this going on 5 albums now, and just making the music that you want to make the longer the band is going on.
Thank you so much, Josh. I mean, that's super nice to hear.
Well, I'm glad to do that, and with that, I think that's an amazing note to end on, and thank you so very much for taking the time to be able to talk to me about what's going on in the world of Corroded right now, and of course, the brand new album, Bitter, which is available now. There's so much to look forward to with this band. I mean, whether someone gets the opportunity to be able to see you in Sweden, or the short run that's going to be coming up towards the end of the year, or looking forward to the next album as well. I mean, whatever's going on with Corroded, it seems like there's so much going on, and I really appreciate you being able to talk to me about all of it.
Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, absolutely the same here. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
Nah, I think you sort of covered most of it. What we absolutely look forward to is like toward the States, but as it is right now, we don't have the muscle that we need to start a tour, but it's going to happen.
Oh, I would love to see that happen at some point. I mean, with the music that you have here, I think once you get that opportunity to play the States and you get that right backing, you get the right album to be able to do that behind, I can just imagine great things that would be happening with it. The crowds being so happy, discovering you, or being longtime fans of the band. I really hope that does happen, because I think it would go over so well over here. Yeah,
we hope so. I mean, that's sort of a long-term goal for us, to tour the States. So yeah, sooner or later, it's going to happen.